Welcome to the Titlis Glacier Mountain World Women's Curling Championship, coming to you live from the Volvo Sports Centre, Riga, Latvia. I'm Richard Harding, and tonight we're going to bring you live coverage of the game between Canada and Switzerland. So, draw 14, Canada against Switzerland, both of them on 5 wins and 3 defeats at this stage. Some Swiss fans in to see if they can lend support for Switzerland in this 14th round. For Canada, the team is Lisa Wiegele, Alison Treviazuk, Emma Miskew, and the skip in the team, it's Emma. The skip in the team is Rachel Homan. Stephanie Ledru, alternate player, and Errol Morris is the coach. For Switzerland, Sandra Gantenbein, Esther Neuenschwander, Manuela Siegrist, and Silvana Tirinzoni. Alternate is Marlene Albrecht, and the coach is Brian Chick. The standings at this stage are Scotland and Sweden on 7 wins, 1 defeat. Russia alone on 6 and 2, Canada and Switzerland 5 and 3, 4 and 5 Japan, China 3 and 5, Germany, Denmark 3 and 6, and unfortunately Latvia right at the bottom, our host nation. So I'm joined this evening by Armin Harder from Swiss Curling to give us some insight to our Swiss team during this game.
Evening, Richard.
Very nice to welcome you back again, Armin.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
I hope to have a good show on the ice.
So do I.
And if the standings at this stage are anything to go by, these teams should be evenly matched. That doesn't mean that, of course, but we'll soon see.
Just as an early note, Switzerland polling a change, taking out Marlene Albrecht, who's the regular third on this team, and putting in spare and skip of her own team, Manuela Siegrist, skip of Basel Regio, team that was third at the Swiss Championships this year. And they put her in at third tonight against Canada.
Some teams preferring to play rather conservatively in the first end, and 1 or 2 of these teams here are prepared to go for some more of an attack game right from the beginning.
Well, Switzerland is actually a fairly aggressive team normally, but Canada does have the hammer in the first end, so
they're to blame. So just on the back edge, that 1 Canadian stone, and these are our playing rules.
That one stayed straight. That was up.
6 ends, minimum 73 minutes, and the coach can come and give some advice on 1 occasion throughout this 10-end game.
Hopefully some good advice.
And they can only come if they're invited by the team. In practice, because it's just 1 occasion, very often it's towards the end of the game if it happens at all, because the point of bringing a coach in early has sort of disappeared because you might need them later, so tend to make your own mind up for most of
I
the
think a little
play
slower,
these
but I
days.
don't think I want to
When there
throw
were
it.
2 or 3 interactions, you would have them all scattered all over the place.
I kind of like the coaches' interactions. I think they're quite interesting to listen and see what the coach also has input.
I think you're there.
Can be, but
Looks like a lot. Yeah. Keep it clean or no?
it's all time.
Looks like a lot. Yet, so probably not.
Time is of the essence.
Like a rocket. It is slowing down. Okay.
The Swiss team come from
Aro, which is about 30 minutes, 45 minutes west of Zurich. That's where they play. That's where they're registered.
Stone being brought into the house just and played by Esther Neuenschwander. Esther, tall young lady, and sitting in the stands is her father, who's a tall, I was going to say young man he was when I played him, but now he's not. But he is tall.
You're inferring that you were young at that time too, were you?
There wasn't.
1979 world champions, losing to Surum, Norway in the final, 5-4. Were you there in 1979?
But Matti Neuenschwander, we always had a laugh because the length of name meant on the back of his jersey it came all the way up one side and down the other.
Manuela Siegrist we see for the first time, age 22, on the ice here. And this is her first rock in this competition. Marlon Albrecht struggling throughout the event at the moment. And Siegrist was skipping her own team at the Swiss Championships and ended up third. And was picked up by this team to take with them to the World Championships. So that's her first Worlds. Teams are getting younger all the time.
Certainly this Canadian team's a younger team for perhaps the first time for them.
Yes, we've seen for a while, certainly, yeah. Also their first World Championships.
Would have been like edge of 12 though.
So I'm quite familiar with Ottawa. Right downtown.
Several curling clubs in Ottawa.
Very nice city.
So we're continuing to draw and hit our way through this end.
And roll out.
And, and another draw perhaps.
I killed a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Switzerland just coming off a win against Germany, which was a struggle for the first 5 ends, and then the Swiss made short work of it in the last 5. And Canada having a bye in the last round.
Canada losing last night at this time to top-ranked Sweden. had a huge chance in the first end. I was calling that game yesterday, and they had a chance hit for 4, which they missed, and after that Sweden didn't let them into the game.
Yeah.
Good quality of curling, apart from that, of course.
I wasn't sure if she was soft, but
Switzerland
normal,
having one of their best games against Sweden. That game was over in 6 ends.
Good move.
And we'll forget about that one.
First view this evening for Rachel Homan, 23-year-old Canadian skip. And a notable feature for me of this Canadian team is how they can handle really heavyweight takeouts. Not something that all the women's teams are able to handle, not certainly on the scale of accuracy that this team can do. So, first view of Silvana Tiranzoni. Miriam Ott, last year's world champion.
That's correct.
What's happened to her? Did Silvana
Just a
beat
hair
them
more.
Yes.
on the way? Yep.
Yes, 3 times at the Swiss Championships out of 4 games. So certainly, and both those teams doing really well on the tour. Silvana doing well on the tour.
Clean it, guys. You got half.
And Miriam last weekend playing in Grand Prairie at a big event. It's the only European team in a 16 field, which had just about every other Canadian team in it. Managed to come up with a win, which gave her 40 points in the Swiss curling ranking system, which makes the race for the Olympic trials quite an interesting finish here. Tiranzoni needs to score some points here at this event to force a trial, so that pressure might be a little bit there.
That sounds an interesting one inside Switzerland. Anyway, at the end of the first end, no score. That hit and roll out by Rachel Homan, giving Canada last stone in the second end again. Let's see if we can get some play running here.
Nice to see some Canadian flags here. Canadian fans. Long way to come. Wondering what kind of influence this change at third position will have with his team. Put up a center guard.
Goed, 2. En hij scoort 3. 3. 2, 3. 2. 3. Ja. Yes. Nog clean. Oké. Uitslag.
So a couple of guards out here. I think Canada will certainly look to use them and try and see if they can score more than 1 point here with last stone. These are Vigale.
It's a standard shot for the Canadians. Rub it off the center and try and roll into the house, but that guard was a little too far away from the house to do that. Swiss have to be aware of that. Lisa Weigel really has that kind of shot aced.
Well, it worked for them in the Canadian Women's Championship anyway.
Can't have those guards too close to the house for her. She will just touch that and roll into the house. Kind of making 2 shots with 1.
It'll be interesting to see whether it's a new variation on the tactics. I haven't seen it really before this week. It'll be interesting to see whether
you can really finesse those shots.
Line's good. Line's really good.
Touching a rock and rolling in. It's what you leave too, is not just what you make, it's what you leave.
Might be okay.
Yep.
Yep.
See whether there's any
Hard.
Former silver medalist. Her mother is an Uttinger. Sister of Peter and Benny Uttinger.
So we're going to come to Attingers later. So not quite succeeding with that one, and we'll just move across to the other side of the ice sheet, sheet D, for the game between Scotland and Italy. Eve Muirhead with her last stone in the first end.
Whoa! Line's close! Yeah, whoa!
Needs to outdraw that. Italian counter.
Whoa! Yeah!
Second end.
Jim, can I talk to Emma?
Back in our game. That catch on the guard leading to
Okay.
the second guard arriving on the left-hand side of the sheet as we look at it from our overhead camera.
Vind je niet slecht? Vind je echt de best? Vind je goed? 11. Ja.
What's the plan, Armin?
Well, they were looking at hitting the top one, but that would have left them second shot, so they decided to hit and roll off the shot rock that's on the side of the house.
Trying to hold the line on this, stop it catching the guard.
Comes past John Morris's father.
John Morris, former world champion, of course, for Canada. Take out on the front one.
Manuela Zegras from Basel, Switzerland. This looks like it over curling a bit. Gets the front one. And here we see Brian Chick, Swiss coach. He's from Toronto, Ontario.
Different paths, I think it's still
Has been working with this team since the beginning of the season.
So second stone here. The skew. Just trying to draw again between these two shots. stone come around the guard of Switzerland. Nicely played. Once more, Canada lie 2 shots here. To keep going like this through the end, they may pick up their juice, which is what they've been aiming to do. So, what's the call for Silvana Tiranzoni with her first shot?
An intern hit here and roll inside behind cover and try and lay shots.
Important to get this one accurately. Certainly doesn't want the stone to curl too far, or she'll catch the front stone. And she's on the wide side, she can run out, so has to make an accurate takeout here. Quite big weight at this.
Second shot, she wanted to stay shot. This allow Canada just to draw around it.
Could draw the other way. Thinking about where to draw.
Needs to be careful of the placement of rock. Doesn't want to set up a double.
This is pretty tough.
Yeah, it's tough. Through that hole, like, it's probably gonna go sideways. Could just go here.
That's tough too, though, because I've got to stay in the A-foot.
Yeah. You could come here. Just half open.
Sure.
Sure.
Then if she runs it, and it's open.
Yeah, but at least hopefully her shooter's rolling if she runs it.
Discussing where to put this stone.
You give me there for the button there, so
Yeah.
probably there.
And if they draw down this line and curl in behind, then
Half buried.
they may leave a shot that
Pretty close to your draw.
could be pushed onto the back Swiss stone on the way out of the house.
Which might actually be quicker.
So
because
the placement of this,
when I was
quite
keying it
important.
up, I was had to key up the middle.
And Homan
Yes,
has
it was
last
really
stone
quick.
advantage.
So
So chance to pick up 2 here.
sit here.
More?
Yeah.
She gets right round behind the guard. It makes it very tough for
I think
Tiranzoni
similar
with
to
her
my
1 stone
draw is
remaining.
fine though. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Very focused on the broom. Intern.
Line's nice.
Yep. Hold it.
Line's nice.
White only.
Like just for line.
Yeah. Line. Line only.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Weight's good.
Line only.
Whoa. Stay close. Oh, no.
Doesn't want to slip behind the tee
Okay,
line.
let it die. Let it stop.
Swiss will
Okay, no.
probably freeze to it if she goes behind the tee line. And, she does exactly that.
Yep,
And,
just a bit too far.
Tiranzoni not wasting any time.
So very important to make the freeze, or
Yep. She brought that right back.
certainly make it impossible to
At least it's over buried.
easily remove this next stone. But it's set up to allow for that, I think. So if she just sits on top of the Titlis sign, that would be fine.
She just watched Homan deliver this, so she
I thought that we had plenty of eyes.
got the read off that rock. She just has to throw the
Yeah,
right
I
weight,
know.
get the right line. Possible for a steal here if she makes this shot perfectly.
Dylan! In de knop. Richtig gut!
Rechtlinie!
Yep! Lange gut! Yep!
Sweeping to keep the stone.
Lange gut! Yep! Oh!
Rechtlinie!
No Lange! No Lange!
Line
It
and
must be
weight.
close because they're on, off, but this weight looks like it's heavy. Not a bad shot.
Well, I think that's pretty good there. Certainly not easy to remove.
If you stick it, that goes.
A couple of ways of trying to remove it, I would say. Can, try and, well, don't think you can get round on the
No,
other hand because
No,
the gap's too small.
straight raise back here.
Just split the 2 yellows out with the raise,
For 1. 2 possible.
possibly for 2.
So
Yes.
everything spills.
Yep.
So she hits the front one more or less right on the nose. She'll be
I think it'll be fairly straight.
Picking up 2, she jams it on and it takes out her own red one in the process, catching the wrong angle. She could lose as many as 2 here. More likely 1.
Big weights coming down here.
So huge weight on this shot.
Sweeper's right on it. Oh, just powered those out. Makes 1.
1. Yeah.
That was quite a shot. Quite brutal, really.
Yeah.
1-0 for Canada after that interesting end of play, which it most certainly was. And the last stone advantage now falling to Switzerland going into end number 3. So we're back here with Canada leading Switzerland 1-0 in the third end. I'm Richard Harding, and this evening I have Armin Harder from Canadian Armin Harder, but from Switzerland, just to confuse you.
I'm confused too.
Alongside me to add his pearls of wisdom to the general comments, and he has insight to all things Swiss curling, which is a good reason for having him here. He can tell us a little bit more about the Tirinzoni team as we proceed in this match. Switzerland now have last stone advantage, and I wonder what they will make of that against Rachel Holman and her team from Ottawa. What's your proposition that they might do here?
Well, she'll certainly start to put up the corner guard as we see here. They'll play offensive, but what I like is it seems like both teams have shown up to play a little curling here. Great last end we had there from both teams. Good execution, and if this is any indication of what we expect for the rest of the game, I think we're in for a good one.
It's gonna over curl then. Over and off. It's too late to sweep.
Tirinsoni's been struggling a little bit throughout
Weight's
the
fine.
event.
It's
Started
gonna
out great with 3 wins, but having a bit of weakness throughout the last 4 games. Still managing to put 2 more victories on the board. But always necessary change at the 3rd position right now, just to shake things up a little bit, I think. Marlon Albrecht on having a great event, playing up the part. Last and 3rd statistics, that's 69.6%.
Well, just trying to come around the guard there and tap the red one back, but catching the guard front of the house, and under the rules, of course, that red stone comes back to
Yeah, just do it. We might have to sweep it hard. Hard finish, right over, right to it. Keep going. It's you, Chris. Oh, it's fine. I was trying to say it's kind of release out of her hand. It's just like not gliding. Yeah, well, you've seen mine go down, so it smells a lot like perfume.
As for Neuenschwander being asked to.
Matti Neuenschwander, that's the top half of him, but at the bottom half is a Swiss bell. 1, 2, and out they go. Very nicely executed.
Matti Neuenschwander, 1976 European champion, 1979 silver medalist at the World Championships.
Was in Bern.
Playing, it was a 74 bronze medal also.
You'll remember all that.
If you don't.
The Sweden-Russia game is going on next door. And I think we're coming to the conclusion of the second end in that game. Here we go. Sweden lying one shot in the top of the 4-foot circle with this last stone of, sorry, Russia lying one shot. Last stone of Maria Pritz.
Ligger ganska bra.
Tempted raise. And with that, Sweden will take 1 point to tie the game at 1-1 after 2 ends. Back in our game. Mr. Neuenschwander getting off the guards.
Just grazes that Canadian shot, doesn't move it out of the house though.
I don't mind line 3, but that's a tough double. Okay. Okay. They've got that pretty easy.
So going for the removal of the one remaining guard for Switzerland.
Yep. Whoa. Just clean. Whoa.
This is quite a negative kind of shot, not the usual shot for Rachel Holman, really. But there we go. So Scotland against Italy in this second end, I beg your pardon. Last stone here for Diana Gaspari from Italy. Somewhat concerned about this. Has to
Just moves it enough to make 2 in that end.
so Italy going ahead 2-1 after second end. And in the meantime, we missed the takeout from Switzerland, who now lie second shot. And run into a hitting conclusion to this end, I think. Miscue wants the hitting stick here to lie 2 once more. Perhaps a little roll away from that one. Well, she hits it on the nose, but it certainly leaves a double takeout chance, being indicated by Tim Zoni.
Really curled, so I just want to make sure I the halve clear.
Maybe a little quicker than what Skip expected. Both these teams are throwing pretty hard. Switzerland has to be careful not to start throwing as hard as the Canadian team is.
you suspect if they throw as hard as Canada, it might be increased speed but decreased accuracy.
Yeah, the broom will be in the wrong spot.
So Homan now, her first stone in this third end. Canada leading 1-0, remember?
Clean it! Yep! Yes!
And for her, this is a slow one.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
Important to hit and if possible roll a little bit further away from the
See it.
other shot. Well, it's not bad there. And it's possible to make the double takeout, but your shot, the shooter that you're going to play with is unlikely to be sticking around either, so we'll be into a blank house.
I locked. Yep.
Tiransoni, not the biggest girl, can still throw a pretty hard shot herself. Just wants to slash that across. Take both. Try and blank this end.
Takeout attempt. Oh, close.
Okay.
That was almost successful.
Okay.
Just slightly over curled and moved the shot across, but left it still in the house. 2 stones to go now in this third end.
Big miss in the stage. Probably force the Swiss to take one now. Homan makes this draw perfectly.
Certainly allows Rachel Homan to draw quite far away from that counter for Canada lying in the house, so that the double takeouts very, very difficult or impossible. And as you say, that would force Switzerland to take the single point. Last stone would go back to.
Line's good. Looks heavy. Yeah. It should be good though. I drew pretty good, pretty close.
There's a lot further in.
No, let it bend. Gonna go back. Let's go deep in. Just let it curl.
Let it curl a bit first.
Whoa, whoa.
No. Whoa, no, it's all there.
Whoa, that's good.
That's fine.
Yep, a little bit. Yep, hard.
Stand back here.
Real quick there.
Good shot.
That's the lowest time I've probably thrown it.
This is a
So
good
now we're at the last stone for Tiransoni, and
Dann kannst du ihn genau gleich spielen wie da durch.
she will play a draw shot to the
so vorne 4 sein.
fully in the white or a little further for a single point. So important that she has the right weight here.
Innen kürzer. Sag mir nicht. Nein, nicht wischen. Bist du?
Just nursing the stone into the centre of the house. No problem whatsoever. Very nice shot indeed for Tiransoni, and the score is now tied after 3 ends at 1-1. So we'll see whether the Swiss can last the pace with all that Canada can throw at them.
Hier Fuß. Hier Fuß.
So the scoreboard there showing 1-1 and 4. And Switzerland taking that stone right into the 1 foot circle.
Oh, she asked for normal.
What?
She asked for normal.
Really?
It's draw it to guard. Okay.
They changed the call on her or something.
Yes, I think.
She knows it. Well, obviously not. Everyone else did.
Was Holman calling for a different shot there?
I'm not sure.
I think she was. I think she was calling for the ticket. Anyway, I'd much rather the shot she did play.
We're the same opinion there.
So Sandra Gantenbein, 78% through the tournament so far.
It's not quite what her lead should be. It's a little low.
Nur 2. 1, 2, 2. Fest. Fest. Noch Lee.
All right.
Noch Lee. Fest. Okay.
Split it. You gotta go this way. Okay. Hey. Just through. It moves here.
Lisa Weigel at 82%.
So 4-point lead over her opponent throughout the tournament.
Puts her
Not a huge amount.
6th amongst all leads.
That's pretty good.
Sandra Gantenbein being 10th amongst the leads. Esternoy and Chandra at 80%. Not bad numbers for a second.
Hier Linie. Hier Linie. Fest.
Has her 5th at second amongst all the other seconds. So that was not a very good shot.
Can we loop around so that we're over curled? Here? Yeah. Not really. Just peeking out? Maybe. If we're like here. You could try it.
I threw middle at 12 in practice, so this spot should be fine. I threw this spot in practice, and it was fine. So it should be good now.
Sounds good.
Still same weight?
Yeah.
So we can hear the plan for Canada here. Plenty guards out in the front of the house. In front of the house.
Yeah.
And 87% for Krivievic. That's good shooting.
Line's good. Line's good. Whoa. Lead only. Whoa. Whoa. At the end. Whoa. Switch. Whoa. It's too deep anyways. All the way back. You can't be even with it. It's not back. All the way back. Whoa.
A little bit too far with that one.
Hey.
And we can see the game between China and Latvia. Well, the raise take out. an awful mess there, but she reduced it from
The curling?
2
Or like
shots
the,
to just 1 shot
the
for
amount that it's curling?
China, stealing a point there against Latvia to go 1-0 ahead. Clearing off the short stones.
Trying to raise this back onto the red ones. It's 1. It's 2. Rolls up behind the Canadian guard. Sitting second shot up there. Not a bad shot.
Pretty good in the circumstances.
Yeah.
And this Neuenschwander playing second in this team. And the other Neuenschwander used to play second in the old Attinger team of brothers.
Peter and Benny.
Well, there were more than them.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 of them.
Peter, Benny, and Rudy.
Rudy, yes, remember him.
It should be about the same, I think, eh?
And I think
I think
there
he's
was
not
also
a
Werner.
little slower.
Werner, yeah, he's the youngest one.
But we swept that
I think they
almost
never really
most
played
like
much
most
as
of the way.
4
So
Attinger.
we
No,
can afford
no,
to
his
throw a
brothers
little
played
bit
with
more,
the brother-in-law.
Yeah, he was quite a bit younger. And for Esther Neuenschwander, her mother is the sister of those
4 brothers.
4 brothers. Attinger, so she's got some genes in her. Some curling genes.
Gotta go.
Wait only, wait only.
Dubendorf, near on the hills above Zurich.
That's right.
No, gotta move.
Gockhausen.
Wait for it to curl.
Okay, go now.
Get shot, get shot.
Have you been to Benny's restaurant up there?
Coming to that
The
next.
Rossweit.
A rather splendid restaurant in Dubendorf, which has curling stone lamps on the walls.
It does. It has a little curling corner where
Give her a shot. Yeah.
some paraphernalia has been set up and
Dus ze hebben 14
pictures
14. Ik ben weer 14.
out of your days.
Long time ago, yes. New recruit for this game, Manuela Siegrist. Basel. Oh, well, I don't think that's quite what the plan was.
Really?
Not sure what they were trying to do there. Do you know?
The guard, if I miss.
Nope.
But not that. Anyway.
Like I can see a fraction.
Canada
really
lying
bored
1
at
stone
it.
in the back of the house here.
That's okay, right?
Yeah.
That's real good.
It's not
Even if
extremely
you hit-
dangerous.
It'd be hard to hit ours, but
I think maybe hack at
Swiss
it. I don't think
shot
like with
in the
board,
rings.
because I can only see small.
You could
think
get
it'll
through
take
that
off?
gap perhaps and take it out if you
Okay.
get
You get the chance. Yeah.
Yep. Is that what
No,
she's
just
looking at?
I don't think
Yeah.
Canada's going to allow the Swiss to do that, though. Or at least they're certainly not going to try to do that. Allow her to do that. But
little
I'm not
extra.
sure of the call here.
I think the call is coming through that gap to take the Swiss stone out if she can get it.
Miss Fruit throwing 81% throughout the tournament.
Has she got the line or is it going to over curl? It could be. Wow, what a shot. What a shot. Brilliant play from Emma Miscu.
Pressure's on now on the Swiss.
And that Swiss stone looked quite nice there till that happened to it. 9-second shot. And that's a tightish gap to come through.
There's a hole there.
Well, there certainly is, but I guess if she doesn't make it, she would certainly open up the front of the house. And I think Switzerland
Little conference.
probably need to do that now. They don't have last stone
Yeah.
in this end, and they are lying at the moment 4 against.
Ja, ich habe schon vorhin gesetzt, schon so ist es.
Warte, ich werde ihn aufmachen, das
Keep
ist
us
dann.
informed of this conversation, Armin.
Mal von vorne schon. Von vorne ist ein
Die Frage ist, wird es auch nicht genug Girl jetzt, um dass wir da hinkommen. Aber dann ist das Problem sicher nicht der Kette.
Das ist, wenn du da kommst, dann musst du fast ausmachen.
Kannst du nachher durch?
Segrist saying she couldn't see too much of that rock sitting in the
Den
hatch.
Flecken kannst du nicht dran, weil dann nachher der Rot im Weg ist.
Da haben die einen gefunden. Also, da sehe ich
Wie das macht sie dann? Dann geht sie da, oder?
Ja, genau. Das sind auch hier im Scheiß.
Dann müsstest du den perfekten Fuß bringen.
Nein, von vorne nicht. Ja, nein. Von vorne ist gut Platz.
Das ist auch nicht.
Well, nothing worse coming to this stage in an end, and you find that they've got 4 stones guarded by.
So kommst du aber
Oh,
nicht
your
mehr.
stones.
Und der Tappe bringt
Well,
auch
I think Tiernsoni has
kurz
to.
probieren.
She doesn't need to get out of trouble here with this shot. She needs to make sure she leaves herself something. She's got 2 more rocks of her own to come, but she needs to move something around here. Allow herself to get out. Canada having the hammer here, and Switzerland could be a little desperate. A little in-off possibility off that one and the 12-foot on the right also for a future rock.
It wouldn't be the end of the world if the guard got moved here, as long as it cleared things out quite a bit.
Manuela Zegras needs to thread the needle here.
Well, that would be a good shot.
Not going to make it through. She get a little fortunate rub here.
Well, that certainly helped matters. So, back to Scotland against Italy on the other side of the ice. Eden Muirhead's last stone in this third end.
Line's good. Line's really good. Come on,
Trying
guys.
for
Like two.
a second shot.
Hard, clear.
Scotland lie 1 on the
Line's perfect.
other side of the house here. On this one for 2. Furious sweeping to
Hard. Come
try
on,
and
go.
bring it in.
That's it.
Yep, she's hard enough and just about to get to the 4-foot circle. That's good enough for 2, and Scotland will jump into the lead again. 3 shots to 2 after 3 ends. In the meantime, back in this game, well, there's no way through, or no easy way through the guards to get that Swiss stone out. So Canada electing to come and guard up the one on the button. They lie 3 here, and they do have last stone advantage.
I wonder if the Canadians have just set up the triple here for the Swiss. She gets that on the nose, she might get all 3.
Yes, that's certainly possible.
And it certainly looks like there's room.
Kommst du 8, oder?
Switzerland needing to get out of trouble here a little bit.
Ja.
Good solid nose hit. Might
Well,
just do the trick.
I think that stone of Canada's just coming in too far, really, Armin.
Yeah.
So, 76% accuracy in the
Achterhalt, ja.
championship so far for Titlis. This raised takeout.
It's moving.
Ja, nog weer, nog weer.
It's going to be a bit on the tight side. Oh my goodness, what are we going to get?
Whoa, 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 whoa. All right.
Well,
Easily removed. She can't be happy with that shot. She had an opportunity to remove all of those rocks.
the problem
This
for
one's easy
What if we
picking.
throw like
it
board?
is really, I was just going to say, the problem for
really tough.
Switzerland
Okay.
is
Control?
there are 3 stones remaining.
Here, though. It moves
2
so much.
for
Yeah, I'll try to hit it high.
Yeah,
Rachel Homan,
call it aggressive.
and the
We had a
last one,
quarter roll.
crucially.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
There's only 1 more for Titlis. So if this stone is removed from play, things are going to look a bit bleak for Switzerland. Actually, If she just hits slightly off the nose here, then the red will go on to the yellow, take it out, and Bowman could certainly be lying 3 or 4, 80% accuracy, 4% lead on Tirinzoni.
Close.
A little bit high on this. I'm not calling it, but it's not far away with the sweeping. She will get it and roll across to lie 3.
And a triple possibility there for
I thought it was gonna
the
curl
Swiss
up.
team. Might just get them out of
I thought it would go
big.
sideways.
Could be sitting 2 after this.
The weight was really
makes
good,
it
so I
triple.
thought it would go
Tough
if we already
triple,
did
I
a
think.
quarter. I thought it was too late to stuff it. Okay, sorry.
You suggesting the hit on the extreme left of the center, the one in the middle, just to nudge across onto the other one, and the middle stone will zoom back and take the other one out the back.
Certainly there.
Ja.
But Tirinzoni,
Pretty accurate.
yeah, you got to make it. Tirinzoni opting to freeze to this top one here.
You've got to make this, or you're going to be losing 4, potentially,
Possibly 5.
possibly 5. Vital shot then for Tirinzoni, and certainly got the weight looking at it from where we are.
Richtig der. Der.
Must pass the front stone and get into a position which is
Richtig gut.
She doesn't want to bounce either.
difficult to remove. Curling now,
Needs to be right up to it.
needs to be right on it.
Looking pretty dandy.
Great shot there from Tirinzoni.
Did it over curl a bit.
Can Rachel Holman remove that with a high hard one?
Well, she can certainly throw.
She certainly can.
This one may have curled just a
Can
bit.
I can't stick
Too
around
much of
nose, eh?
So if she catches about half of it, will it spring it out? It's almost a dead freeze on the shot. Well, only a fraction of or a couple of millimeters.
We gotta hit it big
Apart.
enough not to catch the side. Hey, it's like half, eh?
She can't hit more than half
Sorry?
of it.
No, and it will spring across, I think, and catch that yellow one on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she
little
does
more
get it,
ice.
so
Might drag it back, take the back red one there too.
she might only get. The shooter certainly won't stay. She may only end up with 1, you're right. This one.
Right off,
This has a vapor trail behind it.
Stick it! Yeah! Yes!
Good,
It's going to make
got
contact,
something.
Sit.
but it does lock on the side, and as you correctly predicted, 1 shot to Canada. Saved by that wonderful freeze from Tirinzoni. Well, exciting stuff. That was a good end.
Yes.
Enjoyed that.
Swiss,
Matty enjoyed it. That's the main thing.
Swiss are all smiling in relief.
Yeah. Yeah, they were in a whole lot of trouble through most of that, but escaping with a single point to Canada.
It's nice. Line's good. Line's really good. It's really curling. Let's see if it does. I don't know. We could have stuck it out.
That was real thin.
So in number 4, and Canada quite happy to bring the play into the house here. Sandra Canton
Zwei.
Lieber besser.
Is 3.
to the corner guard.
Gaat goed. Dingen
2.
goed.
Nein, tut mir gut.
Neem het naar 3.
Du.
Neem het naar 3.
Goed, is goed, is goed, is goed. That's
Goed.
it.
Schön. Schön.
Both teams on a 5-win, 3-loss record at this stage of the proceedings.
Give me the sentence more.
It's more. Okay.
And for them, this is the 9th round of 11 in the round-robin series.
It's been very entertaining so far.
And an important round, really, with 3 losses each. Somebody's looking with the 4 losses, and that could be on the margin of qualifying for the final
Really
stages.
slowing down. As tight as you can. Yep,
Switzerland
gotta
still
finish.
having
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Latvia
whoa, whoa,
and
whoa.
Denmark to play.
Whoa, Allie, whoa, whoa.
Well, that's not two of the strongest teams this week, anyway.
That's it.
Denmark, for me, is a bit of a surprise. Expected them to be a little stronger.
They haven't quite got it together. And Canada, who do they have to play?
Canada has China and Japan tomorrow. Both of them not easy teams. I think China's shown some life. Japan certainly went on a tear there for a bit.
7.
Not teams you can take lightly.
No. China started very poorly, but they've been recovering over the last 2 or 3 rounds.
Same with Japan.
Straight.
Started
Sorry,
slow.
right?
Yeah.
Throwing normal.
Yeah, it's straight.
No, Japan got the 3-win, 1-loss record, but they've had a couple of quite major losses in the last 2 or 3 games.
Close, yep. Yes. Hard.
They need to
Hard, hard,
regroup
hard, hard, hard.
to have any chance of making the playoffs.
Oh, that's...
And this event also important for Olympic points, which we'll tell you a little bit more about later on.
18, 12.
So the qualifiers here add to their
Ja, hinten 8.
nation's
Ja,
totals,
mit dem beide wischen.
or the teams with the most wins here add to the total points from before, from last year. And the top ones will go straight to the Olympic. Will have an opportunity to go straight to the Olympic Games next year.
Oh,
And some of the ones on the margins could be in the qualifier event at the end of the year. So we're not too bad there from Schwander. So next door we have the game going on between Sweden and Russia.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And this a very important stone indeed for Russia. They are lying 4 against, and she taps it and runs out, giving up 4. A steal of 4 points for Sweden to go ahead 5-1. Anna Sidorova, the Russian skip,
Real close, yeah.
reigning European champion. Back to our game.
Those Olympic points won't affect these two teams too much. Switzerland being world champion, getting maximum points last year.
Okay.
Canadians picking up the
12.
bronze medal.
Okay, good.
Give them enough for a number of points. Certainly with the rankings they have here, I'm sure they'll be okay. But the teams that these two have to face tomorrow are all fighting for those Olympic points.
that's fine. We just got to make sure we're by.
Okay.
Hack?
One
Yep.
stone removed.
Just through is okay.
9-inch under.
Canadians quite content to play around the center guard.
Really
Certainly
glad,
make
eh?
it difficult for the Swiss team to generate
I don't mind getting rid of it.
multiple points.
Hack. Yes! Hack! Clean! Clean!
Whoa!
Clean! Hack!
Whoa!
Right off. Right off, please. Hack line. Hope it's done.
Hard race. Sorry. Hard race, hard race.
So not quite what was planned there.
Nice throw.
Emma missed you. Back to this game with China against Latvia. Last stone for Latvia here.
Oh!
So Rocks goes slow down a little bit. Doesn't quite come around enough. And China manages to steal one. Steal one more. Making that 2-0 in that game for the Chinese. And Latvia still winless throughout the competition.
I think it's pretty close this other side now.
I think so too. I think so. I threw this a few months ago. It was good. Looks pretty good.
Line's a bit tight.
Line's good. Line's good.
Yep.
Yep. Yes. Hard line. Hard line. Really hard. Go. Hard. Hard. Keep going. Keep going. Hard, hard, hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just there's good.
Oh, the weight came down, eh?
Yeah. But you threw it well.
It's just
And the weight
slow?
really,
No, look at your hand. The weight just didn't come off. So it's slower?
None of the other ones are doing that though. Eh?
Ja, jetzt in the hall.
Mine didn't do that.
I think it did.
So Switzerland ignoring those Canadian counters in the 12-foot, trying to draw around the center guard. Get a shot rock into play here. Manuela Siegrist in her first appearance at this World Championships, replacing Marlon Albrecht at third, who's been underperforming. Just shake things up a bit, makes a fine shot here. Siegrist.
Canada lying 3 shots in the house. Switzerland have last stone though. At the moment. They lie on the top of the 4-foot circle.
Need a mistake here from the Canadians to try and get some points.
Unlucky.
Nice one.
Nice angle shot by the Canadian team, removing that Swiss counter. It does roll open though, so Tiransoni will try and hit this and roll one way or the other. Get some cover on her shot. The way both these teams are playing right now, a score of 2 would be pretty big, I think.
Well, it's looked more likely from the Canadian team than the Swiss. They've been saving things a little bit, but one or two really good shots could change matters. Well, that's quite nice, but it's so easy to come round the guard and get a little bit of draw once you pass the guard and make a take out even on a stone that looks reasonably protected. We've seen last couple of days, I've seen so many shots when the stone's completely covered and they can come round and tap it back.
And this was a bit of a missweeping call. They could have swept it a little more. These striking bands are pretty lively. That rock came off just a little too hard.
I think it might have been
And rolled open onto the other side, or half open.
pretty thin, eh?
Have to be careful of the angle here, though.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Do have a jam possibility on the one on the back.
So 2 stones to go, this one and one other stone. Rachel Holman to remove this and roll across to lie 3, forcing Switzerland to take the point here.
I just want to know. Whoa. I just want to make sure it's bad. Great shot.
Well, she will make the nice takeout and roll, but it's open for Tirinzoni to tap it back with some control, perhaps, or a bit more weight. What do you think?
Oh, this will be control, not too heavy. You don't want to roll out, obviously. Don't have a lot of room there. Want to be able to stay in the 8 foot. Nose hit is good enough. Can roll to the inside, have some room there. Certainly don't want to hit it on the outside.
This is the sort of shot a skip at this level has to make every time, really. I think this one's not far away with the sweeping calls.
Just keeping it clean. And I heard Stern, which is always good.
So, single point then for Silvana Tirinzoni and her Swiss team. And once more the game's tied up, this time at 2-2, going into the 5th end break.
Gut aufgesagt.
War voll gewesen.
Ja.
And this is back at the 2nd end. Big weight by Rachel Holman, trying to clear things out for a big end.
Still have to
Turns
go.
out that she only gets 1.
I know, we still had to go.
And this weight, a bit of a feature of this game with Holman once or twice. In the 3rd end, though, it's a draw against 2 for Tirinzoni with her last stone here. And she will make it right to the button. Tying the game up at 1-1. And we're back to the big, high, brutal takeout stuff here. Tirinzoni playing that magnificent freeze onto the button, and Holman a high-speed takeout to try and remove it for more than 1, but it locks on the side, and meantime her stone rolls out on the right-hand side to leave Canada lying only 1. And after the 5th end, we have a tied game at 2-2, with the second half about to begin. And just while we're doing the updates, 5-1, Sweden leading over Russia. And this now the 5th end. reigning European champion Skip from Russia, playing her last stone in the fifth end against 4 Swedish counters. Well, I don't think she played that hard enough. And losing another point to go 6-1 behind to Sweden. China leading Latvia 3-0 and Scotland 3-2 after 5, or in the fifth end anyway, over Italy. They have last stone advantage there, Scotland.
Can't be perfect on this ice.
Yeah.
Winning the challenge.
Quite amused at these fifth end breaks, Armin, because we have full-blown dinner going on these days. I would have thought maybe they would have eaten before and after rather than all the munching that happens in the middle of the game.
A little nourishment and it takes your mind off, relaxes it. Chewing is apparently good for the circulation to the brain.
We will need to start then.
Swiss not having anything, apparently. Oh yes, they got a bag of something there. Both skips playing with pretty good confidence. Good to see. Quite an interesting game, and when you got both skips playing with that high confidence, you can mix it up, get things going.
So Switzerland coaches both down there. And percentages after 5 ends, 87 for Canada and 80 for Switzerland. Draws are the same, but the hits are in favour of Canada. And no stolen points. The game's going with the last stone all the way through so far. Not a lot to choose from, really. And that is what they're playing for. The Women's World Curling Championship trophy. And all the honour and glory that goes with that. So heading into end 6, it will be Switzerland that recommence after the break. And do you think there'll be any major change of play here, or?
I would expect both teams to carry on as before and hope for a break. Force an error.
I think Switzerland probably have the more bitten fingernails on this than the Canadians.
You got Skip throwing the way Tiransoni's throwing. Feeling pretty good.
Once or twice they've been facing quite a bit of Canadian red-handled stones, but escaped.
It's important, obviously, for the front end of the Swiss team to try and place their rocks a little bit better, put some pressure onto this Canadian team. 91% to the 80-some percent that Guntbein was playing. That's 10% difference.
Second stone for the lead in the Swiss team. Sandra Gantenbein. Put a guard up, not quite covering the whole stone, so chance for Homan to just tap this one back with her lead player's second shot.
She signaled at the back one, but she signaled at the back one rather than.
So Wiggly.
Yeah.
the hit and roll behind the other guard stone, but it is behind the tee line, so it certainly allows Lorenzoni to draw right to the face of it and lie first shot, and that's what she has indicated to her second player, Esther Neuenschwander.
79%. Sure she'd like to up that a little bit in the second half of this game. Again, they just played against Germany. They struggled through the first half and then put it all together in the second half to put the Germans away. Sure they'd like to repeat that against this Canadian team.
Oh, very nice shot from Neuenschwander.
You said that quite well. Swiss is very good.
We got used to saying it many years ago. It's not a new name for this event. So Alison Kreviazuk, 81% in this game, up to end number 5.
Just a little tap, guys. Whoa. No line yet. Whoa. Where's the weight?
It's up below.
Oh, we don't have anything. Back 12. Nothing. It's almost hot.
Just sliding past that Swiss shot.
Well,
That's about the first real mistake we see.
yeah, I was going to say that was a loose one, and
It's embarrassing.
we haven't seen too many really poor stones in this game. It's been a game of pretty high quality, actually. So a chance now for Esther Neuenschwander to draw another stone round the Swiss centre guard out in front of the house, which, if successful, would provide cover for this one.
Make 2 in a row would certainly help her percentages.
Make it sound bad. Not too bad, though.
This is coming up.
Well, it is quite bad, really. At least that one wasn't too good. It's quite a long way short of
That's a long way short.
the distance requested.
You're tapping the guard.
It's one of the things the Swiss team has been struggling with this week.
No, but you might want to throw hair more because you're hitting it on an
Hair
angle.
more weight than that
We
one.
need a bit of
Get
weight.
one good
You're
shot.
hitting on an angle. Just
Mess
a
up the next one.
or same weight. Just I
Can't
think
win
you
when
might
you're
need
playing
hair more.
50%. You can't expect your skip to bail you out every time either.
Yeah.
Well,
Whoa.
Lorenzoni certainly playing well tonight with some important shots.
We through.
Keep going.
We're going here for the raise. Beautiful shot from Kreviazuk in behind the guards, just right on the tee.
Sony staying on the aggressive side.
I think I'd be tempted to play this on the other hand round the guard.
You know, 72%. Not quite up there. It is her first game at a World Championships in a team that she doesn't normally play in. So
A few new things for her
a
then.
few new things for her. Yep.
Mela Siegrist.
A little warm. She wanted to stay shorter on this. High would have been good. That doesn't do anything for the Swiss.
And I think I would have come round that, these two guards on the other hand into the red there. Easier shot perhaps.
Whichever way.
Might set up a double though, coming that way.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe the out. Yeah.
So now
Same weight here.
Switzerland not having the hammer has to be careful again. SQ playing 81%, quite reasonable numbers.
Whoa, right off.
Never. No. Okay. Weight's good.
Wait there.
stopping them.
Just release.
3/4 zu Ende.
Lots of room past that center guard,
Okay?
which would leave it about half open. 2/3. Don't know if it's enough to make a double though.
I think she just got enough draw on that and no more, although
Okay.
they were certainly expecting it to come round further than that, past the guard by more than they had expected.
Okay.
Might get
Emma Miskew just asking if she'd thrown it a little bit wide or hadn't drawn as much as they thought.
chance here for Zegers to help her team out. A bit of a hole.
But the shooter won't stick around, I don't think, if she's going to make contact with this front one. Not if it's fast stone like this, anyway. Well,
Okay.
A bit fortunate there, I think.
yes, I think so too.
Off through.
Just moving the back.
Do that.
Switch. Switch. You guys are good. Just go. Hard. Right to it. Go.
It's making its move now.
Hard.
Diving hard.
Yeah, a little bit tighter this time and right round onto the top of the 4-foot circle. Canada will lie 2 shots right in the red.
Switzerland has no way to remove those.
Well, great shot from Emma Miskew. She played that shot with her first stone, stayed a little wide, and this one goes right round behind. And there's no raise option on the front stone because there's 2 of them and they're lying half checked against one another. So these 2 Canadian stones are pretty well protected where they sit at the moment. This all important for weight, this shot of Tirinzoni's, because if she just comes to the red one, probably the shot stone on the button, and tips just off it, she'll be leaving Canada with another opportunity. So 88% in this game, and she's played a couple of really important saving shots.
Nice numbers.
And this could be another one here.
Sweeper's not even keeping it clean. It's got to come down, I guess.
Freeze.
Be careful.
Perhaps a little bit wide. Here it comes now. Must be up though.
Don't want to touch the front one. Just comes up. Not bad. I think that's pretty good.
Well, it's pretty accurate to get it to finish just as well as that. And again, the stone on the left is going to make it tough to hit that at high speed and remove it because it'll get caught, I think. And we saw a similar arrangement, not quite as tight to the button as we have here, the last time the play came down here, where
Maybe just like
it
back
hit
forward.
and rolled off to the
Just
right
move
hand
this
side and
ahead,
got locked onto
push
one of
that
their
into
own
the
to
open.
Yeah,
You hit the
I think
guard.
that's
leave them with the second shot on that
Well,
occasion,
if he gets
only
the
losing a
inside,
single
it'll
point.
push it open a little.
Do you think we can get to the inside?
Well, I'm
So a
hoping
great
that
shot
we'll
from
take shot, but
Tirinzoni.
I mean, if we're here and we release it a
we
bit,
can
then it's on top of it.
See what they come up with in a moment while we
I think
go
we can.
across
It's
to
also,
China against Latvia on
Especially
sheet
with this
C.
year.
China with 3 wins, started off with 5 losses, and they are in command in this game.
Latvia needing to hit the pin on this to try and score one. Although they haven't won a game yet, the Latvian team has shown some fight and they have been very good at drawing.
So this draw from tap back anyway from Iveta. Stasza Sarsuni gets a 1 and narrows the score to 3-1. Latvia now on the board
So wait, like here.
in their match with China.
Consistent.
I'd rather be a little lighter.
Back here, the discussion having taken place.
Not sure what the call is here. A little hit and roll off. Rachel Holman at 94%.
Yep. For the legs.
Big,
Gotta go then.
big shooting at 94%. So I'm a little surprised not to see them have a go at a bit more weight here. At the moment.
We got to get past the guard, just skins past the guard. Wow. Interesting.
Well, perhaps Canada lie 2 now with that one on the right-hand side.
You might be right, Richard.
Other people think that too.
No. Yellows looks second shot to me.
Yep. Me too.
Great camera work. Actually, it'd be really good camera work if yellow were laying shot now for the Swiss.
Well,
Yeah.
touch of bias from our Swiss friend here. I'll maintain the neutrality in this match.
We're Swiss, we're neutral.
You're Swiss. Swiss from Canada. I'll need to become Canadian.
Gut, könnte Shot werden.
Anyway,
Kannst schon Shot werden.
jolly good game to this point. There's no question about that.
Dann hat sie auf
And,
der
Ja, genau. dort.
Ja.
discussion going on. What shot to play from Tiranzoni. That stone in there is going to be mighty difficult to remove from a Canadian perspective. The 2 yellows out in front stop any kind of raise onto this mix of stones in the red 4-foot circle.
Time out.
I don't think the Swiss would want to touch that red shot that's in the 4-foot, because or that yellow rock. It's sitting in pretty safe in there. It's right now. It's saving a big end.
So you can listen to the Swiss chat and give us some information.
Oh, Brian Chick, the Canadian coach from Toronto, Ontario, will not be speaking Swiss. So we'll listen to this conversation in English. He's got a long way to go, though, till he gets there.
Was passiert, wenn er rauskommt?
Aber nach musst du aber schon nach dem Lauf haben, oder?
Ja, du hast ja dann auch noch einen.
Not quite sure what they're looking at here. I would have thought a pretty good shot with some kind of guard. Give one to Canada, because really Canada don't want one.
Just 2.
They can tap that.
Yeah.
Guard. Yeah, it's not a bad option.
Still tough. The other one is being off.
Yeah.
And if you move that,
I'm afraid if they move that, the Swiss,
Actually,
if
when
they
we
remove
missed
that
then she has.
one on the button from the red one, if they take a run at that, they've got no backing
Well, just tap this
on the yellow. It's pretty easy to pop out. Pretty easy to pop out now, actually.
I think you see enough.
Except for those guards up front.
The center dot. I like the hidden road.
Oh, that one is quite easy for 2, right?
Yep.
I think. And the takeout is niet, huh?
And this one.
if you ever roll open, make too much space, you've got a double for against.
Finde ich, ich würde glaube nicht auf den. Wenn, dann würde ich den da.
Corner freeze on that's not horrible. If they just stay on our yellow.
I don't like the corner
Ja,
freeze.
da.
I don't know if they came to any conclusion there after that coaching timeout.
Ja, einfach wenn er vor dem ist.
Well, they don't like what he suggested.
Nein, dann würde ich gescheiter Guard machen. Ja.
Sagen Sie, wir könnten da die Guard teilen.
Ah, das wäre auch recht, ja.
Würde
Dann
ich
hat sie
nicht.
noch nicht den Rand.
No, could they tap the yellow stone up just a fraction?
Guard ist nicht auf.
Just nudge it back onto that one and give Canada one. That would be not so bad.
Or score one, maybe. Is that too dangerous, leaving a possible double? Could be.
You have no barrier taking away your backing if you do that.
Well, her draw weight accuracy with these stones and freezes has been really good, so if she's confident enough, she could just tap that back to the back of the white 1-foot area and lie first shot. Have to be very accurate. She tried that. Anyway, here we go.
Bis 2.
This could be what she's doing, actually.
Lange gut, bis 2. Geht gut.
Or maybe not. Looks more like a guard to me.
I think that's got guard weight
Yep.
written all over it.
Yes. Be careful it doesn't just over curl in the end. That's what it's doing.
Yeah, the rock didn't do much at all. Not enough ice on that.
As it happens, I'm not sure if it matters.
Nah,
Do you think
I
this is
think you may
easier?
be right, Richard.
No, not at all.
Of course, they just have to
We're for sure not shot.
touch
Okay.
the red one on the outside, the second one to make two.
We got two. I can't hurt
Not
it.
too hard or you'll push the other one.
Just need
Out.
to move it a fraction.
Our last one we just
Because we
swept
can't
it.
touch that.
Oh, I don't think we're gonna get there.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
This is edge on edge. I know.
Would have been
But
nice too.
don't worry about that. We'll probably sweep in for
I think that's what they're looking at. Just want to
That's what we took when we took
move
it.
that
I
one
just
a
don't wanna,
fraction.
like, bounce off. So I think as long as we call it thin to like take it sideways, we're fine.
But I'm only going to throw it like here. Yeah. So I don't think it can roll off.
Okay.
I think it's just going
Here?
to go right into it.
Gonna make
Yeah, I think that's...
two anyways.
I literally just want to touch it.
So this,
We can't
this
have
the
that
last
close.
stone in the sixth end.
So do you want to throw like close to your practice weight?
Canada has last stone advantage here. They lie one.
To make sure. You can
We
throw
think anyway. And
you guys sweep it at all?
tiny little touch on this second shot of theirs would give them two.
Be throwing much more in T-line weight at this. Anything more would be the danger of removing that shot
I think
rock.
on the draws here, I think it should be okay.
That was maybe why Tiranzoni had to just tap a little bit into the 1 foot circle with her yellow stone there.
Weight's good. Weight's good. Little heavy.
Happy with the weight.
Stay close. Yeah.
The weight does indeed look good. Just the line now. The stone curls quite a bit at the end, has to pass these guards. Come all the way up and just tap this in, and it does.
Two.
Nicely played from Rachel Holman. Two it is. And the first deuce of the game in the sixth end takes Canada ahead 4 shots to 2.
Line's good. Looks all there. It's pretty solid. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, but it's coming now. It's curling good.
And if you've recently joined us, I'll just give you a little summary of where we're at here. This is the Titlis Glacier Mountain World Women's Curling Championship. And we're in the Volvo Sports Centre in Riga. I'm Richard Harding. With me is Armin Harder. And we're in the 7th end of this exciting game between Canada and Switzerland. Both teams on 5-win, 3-loss records at this stage, so the result important for each of them. The score is 4-2 in Canada's favour. That pair in the last end. What's the prospects for these remaining 4 ends, Armin?
Well, certainly Switzerland will need to come back and answer with a deuce of their own here. So I think we'll see them taking a little more chances in this end. Rock placement being ever so important.
And we can go across to the Sweden-Russia game. Sweden lying, Russia lying 1 And this draw shot from Anna Sidorova. Giving Russia the chance for two.
Yep, gotta go forward. Finish hard. Okay, as long as you're in, gotta be in. Okay.
So that tightens the score to 6-3, but Sweden definitely dominating the game. As we go back across to 7th end of our game.
See here an indication from Tiransoni wanting to tap back. The rock in the top of the 12-foot, maybe getting a little split on the 1 and the 4 to set up some backing. Big shot here for Guntenbein. It's really important now that the Swiss team gets some rocks into good position. Canadian team being very good at takeouts.
Switzerland have struggled a bit to do that in this game. Only some excellent play from Tiransoni has saved them.
Rock being about a meter too short.
Kraviazuk clearing out this guard. And rolling away herself. Out of play. Canada not needing to take too many risks at 4-2 ahead.
Switzerland will replace that guard. Good call here. Very often you'll see teams trying to chase those 2-shot rocks that are in the house now. End up setting up doubles. Important that this stays out in front of the house. Not. It's a double there.
Yes, absolutely.
Much too close. Would have liked a longer guard. And this is what I meant by rock placement. Can't allow
It's about a quarter to get the double out.
the Canadian team to be able to throw this easy stuff.
And for them, the big weight takeouts are a feature of their game. And this is the double attempt.
Doesn't quite make it.
No, it just rolls across the face and provides a short guard stone on the other side of the house for possible use.
Tiransoni will try and take advantage of it right away.
She's cranked it, yeah. There's not much we can do. Either leave it from that corner or this corner.
And we are going back to have a look at the score between Scotland and Italy. 6 shots to 2 after 6 end. So Canada line these 2 stones right on the 4-foot circle, that red circle.
Not quite sure what the call is here. I think the draw around the corner guard. No, this looks like a tap. No, it's the draw, but it's fairly wide.
Rather longer than they would have wanted.
Still in the house though. I think every walk in the house right now, Swiss will be happy about. It's not quite where they wanted it though.
Actually, I think they really needed to move something on the 4-foot circle. These stones of Canada's are well placed for Canada. We're on to third stones now, halfway through the end. Emma miscue throwing this one.
Clean it. Yep.
Well, big weight at this shot in the back of the house. Hits and rolls out. Back in the game with China and Latvia for a moment, and Big Yu Wang with this stone has the chance to.
It's about the 4-foot.
Draw for 2 for China.
Whole 8-foot actually available.
So 2 it is, and 5-1 they lead. So leading in this game, they've won the last 3, coming back strongly from a horrible start where they lost the first 5 games.
Can't see that one.
Manuela Siegrist. She's drawn to the other side there.
They split the top one. Got nice action off both rocks. Good separation. Exposing those 2 shots in the 4-foot. Switzerland's going to have to make a move at them pretty quick.
Released it. Now it's done.
Let's get him. It's a good spot for it. Might be able to force it.
I
think Switzerland will need to talk about freeze, but I think they might have to move at least one of them.
Yeah, that's good.
Just hoping to take them both out, I think, and roll to the side.
I think that was the call, 9.5 weight indication, so it's a controlled takeout.
Manuela Siegrist.
Good shot here.
Basel club. Really important shot for Switzerland to.
We'll need to keep the shooter. That was horrible.
That was horrible.
Not only did they lose the shooter, they pushed their own rock. Oh. It's a third shot. Maybe even 4th.
Yep. Well, almost certainly now Switzerland are going to be forced to take the single point here.
Surprised she's hitting this.
And at 2 shots behind, they need to get 2 back or blank the end and have a go at getting 2 back in the next end.
Must be third shot. I don't think she'd be hitting it.
Neither of these options look very likely at the moment.
Switzerland does have a corner guard up there. They might be thankful for.
Yeah, if we can. Not sure if it's going to go or stay here. Okay. Last game it stayed pretty straight here.
So, Homan going for the takeout on the only Swiss stone in the house to perhaps leave Canada lying either 3 or 4 after this. Great shot from Rachel Homan. She will lie 4.
No danger for the Swiss, but Swiss don't just want to make one. They would desperately wanting 2 points in this end.
Well, the good news is that the Canadian stones in the centre of the house are behind the tee. So, given her accurate draw weight, is Tirinzoni going to freeze onto one of these and make it impossible to remove the stone?
I think she's going to try and tap this one back a bit. That was the indication that I saw.
Why not just freeze right onto it? More difficult to remove. I think unless she freezes dead onto it, then Homan will just remove it.
It's got to come down and wait. Oh no, this has got nothing, no line at all.
Okay.
She won't be happy with that one.
Well, she won't need to worry about it in a minute because it's going west. That will be removed. It's going east, actually.
Get my compass out here.
Armin giving me hand signals here. But the news is it's going out.
I'm sure it will be.
And Tirinzoni after the shot will be left with a draw or a tap for a single point, I think. So Homan, controlled but heavy weight to remove this stone. She does. Leaves her own one on the tee line. Great play from Homan. Still shooting high numbers tonight. Now I think Tirinzoni going for a controlled weight takeout here. It's certainly not the draw or freeze with that ice, is it?
Well, she won't be able to roll too far, or roll at all. She has a little room on the inside. She's got no room on the outside.
That's right. So a critical shot for Switzerland here. They're 4-2 down. And Tirinzoni must hit and stick with this last stone. She runs out in any way. She's losing several shots to Canada.
This could be
panicking with the sweeping. I hope it's on target for her sake. Well, it is. Good for her. And one shot to Switzerland it is. The score will narrow from 4-2 to 4-3, but crucially the last stone will go back to Canada. Going into the 8th end. So 3 ends remaining. You can see from the scoreboard there, Switzerland taking a single point. And the Canadians leading 4-3 with the last stone advantage in end number 8.
Swiss will be a little disappointed with that last end. They should have done a little more with that. Quite a brutal shot by the third with her last rock. Change that end, or any opportunity they may have had to score two. Swiss will need to steal now.
I think so. You threw this one.
Lisa Vigale once more with her first stone, looking to just tap this stone across and run her shooter over to be a guard on the other side. So the yellow stone of Switzerland being tapped into the house, which means it can be hit the next time if required. Gantenbein with her second stone here. So a second card put up by Gantenbein. There's the percentage splits between them, 90 to 83, similar on the draws, but Vigale definitely ahead on the hits. We don't know how many of each shot there are from that statistic. Shot in the circumstances.
Seemed to be very routine for Lisa.
Centre of the house now open again. Switzerland need to close this up and try and get behind guards in the centre of the house. They're desperately needing to lead the play to the middle to have a chance of a steal. Moment the play is on the sides. Another guard. This one's struggling to make it over the hog line.
Oh, let it be over.
Feverish sweeping to get it over. Will it get over?
Needs to be over that line completely.
Will not get over. That's a dreadful shot in the circumstances. It's a mental setback when that happens as well for the whole team, Armin.
Yeah, it kind of lets the air out of it.
And once more, we're going back to Sweden against Russia. Russians having a mini comeback to get back to 6-3, but here, chance for Maria Pritz to draw for 2. And that would...
It's a pretty awesome shot.
The Swedish score, 8-3. Great draw from Pritz. No question about that.
But if you hit less
Tonight they're well on top of the game against Russia. Now Kreviazuk can remove the short stone.
Yeah, that's good.
Which she does.
It's good.
Piranzoni once more indicating for the guard. Needs to be over the hog line. And Schwander leaving the last one too short. We're on to this one quite quickly too. It's a better weight though, I think.
It's going to come down a bit. Looking good now.
So the guard established once more, but sure Coleman will have that shot removed. And these are the statistics for Neuenschwander and Kreviazuk, 79 to 75. Hits better from the Swiss, draws better from Canadian.
Close, yes!
So the peel or split off from that yellow stone in Switzerland, and she will make a great shot there, removing the stone from the rings in the process.
She said something, yeah, I don't even know what happened.
Now, Manuela Seatrust just hitting the stone, although certainly wouldn't be the shot I would have been playing there, Armin.
I think Swiss a little concerned about their time. Seeing that there's not much available in this end. Maybe just willing to carry it on into the next. Renew that attack with the center guard in the next end.
I don't mind the split. Yeah. If anything, make sure the shooter rolls. We don't want to leave another guard.
We don't need to.
Yeah. Top 7. Should be close.
Line's good.
Whoa.
Line's really good. Line only. Line only.
And now that the end is wide open with only one guard there, looking for a loose shot from the back end of the Swiss team, and Canada could take 2 points. That's what's running through their mind now.
Important shot here from Segrist.
Segrist been a bit off the boil the last 2 or 3 ends. Nomination
Oh,
here
backline is not what they want. It's supposed to be a freeze.
to follow that round. Well, this is going straight through. That's quite a poor shot. So a great chance for Canada to score a pair here. They've got last stone. If I can get this stone right round behind the guard, they could be picking up 3 even. So Emma Miscue just looking to draw around and freeze onto the stone they already have. This one looks a little bit
Warm too, yeah.
firm too. Slowing down now a little bit. Needs to curl and stop.
Sets up a nice little pocket for the Swiss. Maybe.
And in the China-Latvia game, this is the last stone. Going for 2 shots by Iveta Stasasarsun. Latvian skip from here in Riga. She has to make this draw into the centre of the house for 2, and she does. Score now 5 shots to 3 for China over Latvia.
Sony with a small opportunity here to try and freeze into that pocket.
To be right up though. Oh, there's a chance just to
pick it out now.
Pick it out, exactly.
Easy to get that up there. And Canadian is still laying shot. That's it over curled also.
Well, Turanzoni's been very successful at making sure Canada only get 1 point. mostly coming down here. In the second and the fourth end, she succeeded with great play. Didn't quite make it in the sixth, although she played the end well, but here in the eighth end,
I think so.
once more,
We can drag
things
them
looking
then
difficult
the
for
inside side.
Switzerland. And tonight, Homan shooting
Going to the wings
90%,
definitely quicker, right?
94 for the hits, 82 for the draws. Tirinzoni 10% behind on the hits, but ahead on the draws, and they certainly have been some
So if the lines get
fantastic
around
draws
tap it an inch,
by her.
we can't bounce off. As long as the line's good, we can tap it. Just get a piece of the four.
Tirinzoni team as a whole needing to play at least 10% better to have had a chance against this Canadian team.
Homan just hoping to draw right in here on lie 2.
Stay with it. We're bumping. Stay with it. No. Yep.
Well, at least
She does. Great shot from her.
there's a little pocket here for the Swiss. Might as well go for it.
So once more a vital shot for Tirinzoni. 2 stones remaining in this end, and we can just quickly go to the Sweden versus Russia game, where Sweden eventually upended the European champions 10 shots to 3. Crushing defeat for them.
Put the Swedes at 8-1, and the Russians go to 6-3. So the Russians not clear yet. Certainly that should put Sweden
They're certainly into the playoffs.
in the playoff. Yeah.
Almost certainly the 1-2 game. And here, Tirinzoni, really important to get past this red stone of Canada's. Must get past. Wow.
Weight was nice.
Big chance here for
She was good.
3 for Rachel
Sweden
Homan.
knows it. Yeah. Do you like to throw
Well, that
it
stone.
down normal just to keep
Quite often when there's a front guard, you're concentrating on getting past the front one, but actually the critical one to get past there was the stone just in front of the tee line.
normal, just you can control normal.
I think if they'd swept it hard all the way, they might have got past it.
Yeah. For sure. I just
But it
don't
was
wait
not
on
to
the
be.
sides. I
It
can't throw
bounced
down.
off, and now it's
So, like, just
relatively straightforward to take it out.
I don't think we can
If they
sit down
lose the
and do
shooter, they still pick up 2 probably, Canada.
it. I don't think so, Rach. For
I
this,
think they have actually quite an easy shot to make 3. I don't know what the discussion is.
When your draws in practice, they're taken off.
I think we can hold it to hit there, and then we're still shot 2. I think that's really good ice for normal.
Do you think so?
Quite
Is that
sure.
positive?
I think we're gonna roll out if we throw it positive here.
I think we can let it come up for sure.
Let's hit this on the nose, and it's not going to do much.
I think we have to throw weight.
That is straight down here.
Yeah, I don't think it curls that much. Okay.
Down normal.
So Rachel Homan now. Last stone in the 8th end. Take out for 3.
No.
Right off.
Well, it's a little bit
Hey, Rach.
high on that side, and it will just snick in and nestle against the back red, and she will pick up that 3. And with that, she will go into a 7-3 advantage, going down in number 9. And after 8 ends in the Scotland versus Italy game, Eve Muirhead from Scotland and her team are 8-3 up over Italy's Diana Gaspari. Meanwhile, back in our game, the first stone of this end has been thrown through by Canada, and as we join it, the Swiss lead will put up a guard shot. It's looking a little too firm, and if that's in the house, it'll just be removed. It's a baddie. Well,
I think we can hold it pretty straight here.
I think with the standard of play by Rachel Holman tonight, there's not too much chance of Switzerland coming back in this game.
Now the CAN-SUI team, front end, third, just not being up to par with this Canadian team.
So everything being removed now.
Socks?
CAN-SUI going into the house behind the tee line. Trying to force an error from the Canadians. Maybe a hit and stick. Die Neuen Schwander. Probably realizing that there's not much hope in this game. Canadians not looking like they're going to be making any big mistakes.
No, as soon as that first draw shot of Sandra Gantenbein went into the house, there was only going to be one more chance after that with the short guard, and really the game was, there was no challenge likely to maybe open up an opportunity to get one or two shots back, certainly two shots or more back. And now the end will simply be cleared out by the Canadians.
I think if you get it off the line, it'll float, but yeah, curls a bit.
Clean.
Just throw him.
Quite a difference here at third position. 82% for Miscue, 58% for Manuela Zegras. First time competing at a World Championships. First time competing this week here. Coming in for Marlene Albrecht, the regular third at this position, who also has been underperforming. Swiss trying to shake up a few things, trying to get some more performance. Oh, there's a bit of a break maybe for the Swiss, something they can use.
And we can just go across a couple of sheets to see the end of that game between China and Latvia. And Latvia, host nation. Not too experienced at this level, unfortunately losing another game to China. 7 shots to 3, and China on a bit of a roll now with 4 straight wins in the last 4 games. Back here we're going to Siegrist's first stone, a second stone here in the 9th end.
Okay.
That stone also not being anywhere near target.
Even though she threw like a million miles an hour. Yeah. I think as long as I'm positive, it shouldn't throw.
Kieran's only wondering if she can pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Whoa. Just, whoa.
Yeah.
Just one
No,
clean,
I
one
think
clean.
the rabbit's in the hat.
Almost.
There's not going to be much to stop
I don't want to call it.
Rachel Holman, certainly not at this end. And
That's what
if
I on.
Switzerland don't score anything here, then they're looking
I didn't
to
think it would be that close, or I would have called it.
score 4 on the last end. That's not looking too likely against the strength of the Ottawa team tonight, who I must say are in top form. Very few mistakes by them. A couple of half shots here and there, but otherwise pretty flawless performance.
And it's been a complete team performance. Like the Swiss, certainly underperforming at certain positions. Definitely not good enough to beat this Canadian foursome.
T-line. Yep. 7, 8. Please freeze. Muss er bellen. Yep. No freeze, no freeze. Yep. Nog weer. Pak straight.
Nicely played.
Think it's a little straighter out here? Maybe. Nose is fine. No, you'll get it out.
I'm sure this will have enough weight on it not to make too much of a difference.
Clean. Clean.
Yep.
Clean.
Great play then from Bowman. Never in doubt. Her accuracy was very solid there.
Yes.
Huh?
You can throw them straight.
So the last stone here in the 9th, 7-3 Canada lead. This could be the last stone of the game, perhaps. We will see. Switzerland score 1, they don't have last stone, and they would be 3 down. If they wanted to play a 10th end.
T-line.
Might be worth a few stones to see how they get on.
Yep.
So, Turanzoni.
It's a realization there from the Swiss skip that her team's just not strong enough tonight to beat this Canadian team. Final score 7-4.
Thanks. I didn't like that pair for draw weight, but I made a lot of hack weight shots.
So with that win, that'll put Canada to 6-3, Switzerland to 5-4. Switzerland will need to win 2 games tomorrow and need some help along the way to get back, have a shot at making the playoffs. Good solid performance by the Canadian team. Next game up tomorrow morning. We're moving over to Scotland and Italy, who are still at it. Here in the 10th end. Scotland up 8-4. And just removing this one Italian rock. It's shake hands in this game also. Scotland running the Italian team out of rocks. That'll put Scotland to 8-1. Should also qualify them for the playoffs. That'll finish the evening draw here in Riga.
Thank you. Thank you.
Soon have an interview with the winning skip from the Canadian team.
Good job. Well played. Well played. Well played. Well played. Yep, good game. Job, guys. Thanks. Here. Thanks. No, that's not mine.
And we'll go to the highlights. The last half of the game. Sixth end. Quite a few rocks in play. Rachel Holman just needs to nudge the rock that's sitting in the forefoot to push it. Just needs to touch it to make it out count that yellow Swiss counter. 2 points in the sixth end. In the eighth, a fairly open hit here for the Canadian team. Freeze attempt by CAN-SUI, just not rubbed at the top of the shot rock. Open now. And that is a big score of 3 in the eighth. Pretty well puts that game away. And here we got CAN-SUI conceding the game in the ninth end. A good solid performance by the Canadian foursome. Rest of the results tonight. Sweden 10-3 over Russia. China 7-3 over Latvia. And Scotland 8-4 over Italy. And we'll look at the standings. Scotland and Sweden pretty well qualified right ahead. Canada and Russia fighting.
Sure.
And you feel tonight was a big recovery after yesterday's disappointment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it wasn't a disappointment. We still learned, and it was a tough loss that we I mean, we learned a lot from and we played so well. So I think we're just building from here on out, and we're playing really well right now, and just got to keep going for tomorrow, and we'll be in playoffs.
And the chances against China and Japan looking pretty good?
I don't know. I don't think we've played Japan before. We played China a while ago, so not too sure. Haven't really looked at them, but we're mostly just sticking with our game plan, and it doesn't really matter who we're playing.
So a strong performance overall and all set for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Just got to continue tomorrow, and we really want to try and make playoffs, obviously. So we need at least one win tomorrow.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
And that was Richard Harding with Rachel Homan, skip of the Canadian foursome. This has been the Titlis Glacier Mountain World Women's Curling Championships from Riga, Latvia. We hope you enjoyed our broadcast. On behalf of Richard and myself, wish everyone a good evening and hope to see you back here tomorrow for some more games on the last day of regular round-robin competition.